Okay, so when it comes to how many they are, governments regulating them and everything, um, a lot of people are hesitant as of right now because of they don't know how legal, or they hear that some of them are legal. Some of the exchanges are legal. You hear Europe banning. You hear Europe banning certain exchanges, or China banning cryptos and things of that nature, or the mining of them. So how do they? How would you say somebody should navigate the crypto landscape?
So it's all just personal opinion things that I kind of, the way I kind of look at things. And this is not financial advice by any means. This is just, kind of how I look at things. So there has to be legislation because of, uh, knowing who you're conducting business with, right?
Yeah,
So, do you want to be conducting business with criminals, possibly? Do you want to be conducting business with bad actors, people that are into nefarious activities? So, uh, this thing about nations and countries banning certain things, they're banning exchanges that don't want to fall in line with a term that they use as KYC, know your customer.
okay.
They're banning them because they do want to know to some degree. They have to have information to some degree because if you're just moving money around left and right as you please and there's no way to know, look at the possible bad things that could be going on behind the scenes,
Yeah,
right? This could essentially help bad actors conduct nefarious activities that could be damaging and destructive to people in their lives, right? So in my personal opinion, I look at it and say we can't so much be worried because look at the internet, right?
yeah,
The internet is highly regulated now, and everybody still uses it. Look at
yeah.
cell phones; it's highly regulated. I mean, I don't know if you know what's happened lately, but I believe in Apple's what is it, Apple 15 update. When it gets to update 15, they're going to be um, taking full control to scan your photos to make sure that you don't have
Yeah, child pornography and stuff like that.
child pornography, right,
Yeah,
in your phone, right? So, but you still got iPhones and still use the technology, right? So you got to understand they're looking at this as we need to have some degree, right? Now, personal feelings towards that stuff that can be debated left and right, but
yeah,
people still use these things, right? You
right.
get online on the internet and you can see a lot of nefarious activities happening on the internet all day long, but they try to hone in, right, and try to catch a lot of these bad actors. So even as we look at the future, like I believe, what phone companies now, Yahoo is it Yahoo? I believe Yahoo now will be monitoring certain information coming through their system, which means they'll be scanning your data and your stuff for nefarious activities, right?
Yeah,
So eh, this is the we're going into a new age. For the longest time, and this might kind of be off topic, but it's very prevalent to the conversation. For a long time, we have had the world kind of doing as it feels, not caring about who it destroys to get where it's going, and so people get hurt, and then if people don't know not to do these things, right, because the system says it's okay to do these things and there's no consequences, then we're kind of breeding these behaviors over and over again. So it's kind of like, at some point in time, well, it's coming.
yeah,
There you go. It's coming. You look at blockchain, you look at the technology, you can say to yourself, wow, you know, these things are needed, right? If you're one being affected or hurt by these actions, then you will eventually agree that yeah, man, that's what you're doing to the exchange over there. You see?
yeah.
And that's just my personal opinion. Again, that's just how I'm looking at things and trying to understand it where I am in my.
Being that being that this is a currency, and you know how we're American citizens over here. So when it comes to the whole tax thing, this is a currency, and you have the potential to make cents to millions, as we see in the news. Sometimes people really luck up and become crypto millionaires. What's the tax situation?
I think they're, and this is based on my understanding to date. So I did have to file taxes this past year because I believe it's like $20,000 the previous year if you made $20,000, or if you did like 2,000 transactions, you had to report that information.
Okay.
Knew I had been doing a lot of exchange for currency. I already knew when the new year came in, I needed to report that information.
Okay.
So I at that time got an app called Coin Tracker. And if anybody's getting into space, not financial advice or anything, that's I'm just sharing my information on what I've done and where I've been, how I've been navigating through these waters. I would advise that because it allows you to link these exchanges to your account, so that at the end of the year, when you go to file taxes, you can pay a small fee and have your files printed out emailed to you, so then you can print them out and take them to your tax prep.
Okay.
So I know that that's crazy without having the details, but what I'm really trying to say is I don't know how they're going to carry it. I believe last year they carried it as commodities.
Okay.
So taxes would be done based on commodity, as it's treated as a commodity. But when you start to try to understand what are they calling a commodity, in assets, it becomes like a lot of things are flying around. So there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of trying to comprehend language, and this goes back to what I said earlier. The correct words. When you use certain words, you got to be careful, because those words are kind of putting this situation, cryptocurrencies, in a particular space.
Yes.
Right? Some people say, "Oh, digital assets." Okay, so if it's a digital asset, we're calling it a commodity, right? Some people say a cryptocurrency. Oh, well, if we call it a currency, then it's the equivalent of a dollar, right?
Yeah.
So then you have to be careful, because that's going to determine what this government's trying to figure out is how they're going to tax. So I would look at it as, once you get in the space, be prepared to keep record. And if you want to do it the easiest way, there are so many different applications out there that will do the work for you in the background. They'll track the transactions on the exchange. You can actually add your wallet, so it'll know your wallet and how much money your account has, and so on and so forth. And so that'll help anybody that might get a little nervous about it. You can't just, without being long, I said you can't just go out there and think, oh, I turned over $200-300, and I got these currencies off this exchange because I'm like these currencies. Let's say Dogecoin. I had Dogecoins, right? All these Dogecoins, because I believe that these Dogecoins, everybody's gonna want to use them, right? So then, you look at you got all this at 5 cents a piece, and then one day they're at 70 cents, right? So then a lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm a millionaire, right? I never had so much money before. And then they think they can withdraw it, right, and go to spending. Okay, so without the full regulation, and the way they based it the previous year's commodities, you're still going to have to pay tax on it, because you're in the United States system, and they see a taxable event there. So you can't escape those things. You just have to be aware.
Definitely. And we're not tax professionals, but consult your tax professional if you want all the information.
That's right.